Alright, welcome back to our horror binge, where we're looking at nothing but horror movies for the entire month of October. Now, when I uploaded my first video of the month, I said we'd look at my favorite horror movies. Well, I think we're tossing the word favorite out the window. I wasn't planning on doing this movie at all, but I was looking at the movies I had planned to do and I realized I don't have anything ocean related. Because the ocean's a scary place. So I googled underwater horror movies and I found this. So today we're going to be checking out Underwater, released in 2020, directed by William Eubank. Now, I have quite a few things to say about this movie, and the main problem I have is that I feel this movie is missing at least 20 to 30 minutes of setup, and it instead just dives straight into the chaos. Throughout the whole movie, I can't remember a time where I actually cared about the characters because they just start with the batshit stuff before giving us anything really to care about them. I watched this a couple times and a second viewing made me not hate it anymore. The first time I watched this, I didn't like it at all, but a rewatch kind of changed my mind. Not by much, but you know. Now, you can be entertained by this movie for sure, but for me it's pretty forgettable story-wise, but the kills, the setting, and film editing, pretty good. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin. We start off with some description of the Marianas Trench and that a group of oceanic researchers working for a deep-sea drilling company are down there doing research, I guess. We're at the Kepler station where the cameras show numerous long empty hallways in complete silence with some of the lights flickering and banging in the distance. Here we meet Nora, played by Kristen Stewart. She's brushing her teeth and hesitant to kill a spider she finds in the sink. She hears loud noises coming from the hall, and when she goes to check it out, she notices the ceiling is leaking, which is not a good sign if you're in a massive research station miles underwater. Then things go kaboom! She runs down the halls in a panic, yelling for everyone to wake up and that there's a pressure breach. And as she's slipping and sliding around, she meets Rodrigo, played by Mamadou Ache. They make it to a safe room, and as they shuffle trying to get the door to close, Nora sees two people running towards them, yelling to wait for them. But Rodrigo tells Nora they aren't going to make it and they need to close the door, or otherwise the whole rig will die. And so they do, and things are fine for 5 seconds until things go kaboom again. They were on the safe side of the implosion, and Nora radios Mayday to control, but there's no answer. They hear loud noises all around them. I'm not sure if that's the station shitting the bed or sea monsters. Nora surveys the damage on a computer, showing the station is 70% compromised and there's no way to the surface without evac pods and CR7. They're making their way there through the rubble when Nora hears muffled yelling in the distance and goes to check it out. She meets Paul, played by TJ Miller, buried under rocks and not injured at all, which is surprising. They crawl through a tight space when they see a dead person. They make it out to CR7, where they see their Captain Lucien, played by Vincent Castle, sitting in the middle of the room, but all the evac pods are gone. She opens the door and tells them how bad the damage is.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how bad's my rig?
10.
She goes in the room as Lucien examines Nora and tells him why she's still there.
Why are you still here? You should have gone up. There were pods here.
Because that's what captains do.
Nora has a panic attack while telling Lucien that there could be more survivors. One flashlight transition later, we're in the control room where we meet two more survivors, Liam and Emily, played by John Gallagher Jr. and Jessica Henwick. Nora finds out that the thermal cores are unstable when Rodrigo explains what that means.
There's a meltdown, there's going to be a lot of heat, there's going to be a flash boil, explosions. I don't really know. I watch a lot of anime. That's all I know.
Oh, you watch anime? I like anime.
I'm not sure what watching anime had to do with that, but it got a chuckle out of me. Lucien tells everybody that this whole station is going to go down soon and they need to go to the Roebuck, which is another station 2 miles away. But the problem is they have to walk the whole way across the ocean floor in underwater suits that can sustain the amount of pressure from being this far underwater. Nora panics again and asks Lucien to admit they might die, while Lucien claps back with some positivity.
Can you admit that we might live doing this?
I like how reassuring Lucien is to make sure he reminds everyone that they're not going to die, giving them a sign of hope. Liam then finds a transmission from the drill site before the earthquake.
What the hell was that noise?
That sounds like Zapdos. As they're gearing up for their mission, Emily sees a mural of some kind and freaks herself out, and Paul packs a stuffed bunny. Rodrigo is tasked with gathering 6 good helmets, but he only gets 5 good and 1 bad, and gives Nora the last good one and takes the damaged one for himself. When they descend and attempt to open the door, Rodrigo's helmet starts to crack even more. Nora realizes and yells to keep the door closed, but then F's in the chat for Rodrigo. After Rodrigo's implosion, Nora looks into the void and freaks herself out while some ominous music plays. They leap down and make it to the cargo elevator. Nora then realizes that Rodrigo sacrificed himself so she could live, and Lucien tells her to use her fear to go forward. The crew mourn for Rodrigo as Emily says she's never seen anybody die before, and Paul attempts to lighten the mood by telling a joke Rodrigo always told.
What did the fish say when it bumped into the brick wall? Damn.
Ha! But they're showing some emotion and not just being dumb the whole time, so well, I'll let the bad joke slide. They're descending to the ocean floor as they hear a pinging sound and the monitor shows something is nearby. Lucien thinks it's a distress call from an evac pod. He then tells the crew it could be a survivor and that someone should suit up and help them, and Paul volunteers Emily as tribute.
All right, Emily. This is your time.
What?
I'm just messing with you.
Okay, that was pretty good. Paul and Liam make their way to help in the dark, not being able to see much until they reach the pod with some squishy stuff, but nobody inside.
Ah, scratch that. There's a body.
Paul goes up closer, trying to see what's on the body when... They bring it back after Liam shoots it, and Paul asks if it's alive.
Is it still alive?
No,
I will kill it.
The power goes out, and while in silence, they hear something outside banging around. When they come to the realization that what they brought in might be a baby, and there could be a mother looking for it.
Oh my god!
The Kepler explodes even more as their cargo elevator begins to flood and drop even further. They run to the access tunnel they need to go to get to the Roebuck, but debris falls and is about to hit Nora, but Liam pushes her out of the way. It hits him, damaging his suit. They make it inside as monster sounds are everywhere. They take a dinghy type thingy to go through the tunnel, and when they stop, they hear even more monster sounds.
Okay, I'm getting very close to shitting myself.
They reach a dead end with a tight opening, and Nora offers to go through to see if there's a wider opening. She ends up finding one, and as the others go through, Paul is the last to go. But there's something in the water. The others begin to pull Paul through, but feel resistance, and when he finally makes it through, he's getting pulled back by something else. But he gets his bunny to safety at least. They put his helmet on him, and whatever is pulling Paul rips him right out of his suit and kills him. That looked pretty neat. At the Midway station, Lucien is radioing for anybody, and Liam looks at the Kepler and asks how the whole thing got destroyed, and Emily says it's because they're not supposed to be down there. After getting nothing, Lucien checks Liam's suit to see the damage and discovers his oxygen supply is fried. They make it out to walk the rest of the way with Liam attached to Lucien's oxygen. As they're walking, they soon find out they're not alone. They turn off their lights to hide in the dark, but the monster comes up and takes Liam away. They run to go save him while Nora looks up to Lucien, and after he gets him, Lucien goes to get the gun Liam dropped. Then the monster comes out and starts dragging both Nora and Lucien to a marker of some kind slightly above the ocean ground. The creature comes back and tries to suck Nora's helmet, but Lucien tries to make the save, and they both end up getting dragged higher and higher very fast. And as the pressure gets higher, Lucien tells Nora to let go. Otherwise, they'll both die. Lucien disconnects himself and then implodes. Back on the ocean ground, but Nora manages to make it to an abandoned expeditionary unit. After cleaning herself up, she radios for the others, but only gets silence. She looks around the unit and finds some of Lucien's old stuff, even a newer old yellow suit. She finds another flare gun and pushes on to find the others. She hears Emily, but Emily can't hear Nora. Nora then sees Emily in the distance dragging Liam, so she runs to her, but Emily thinks it's a monster and tries to run away, and when Nora catches up, she reassures her she's okay and tells her she's proud of her. They bond as they drag Liam, and Nora tells Emily that Liam saved her life. After walking, they finally reach the Roebuck, but when they get there, they discover the ceiling and the entranceway is infested with sleeping creatures. Turning their lights off and attempting to sneak by, a monster dangles its arm onto Nora's head, and after it slides off, comes swinging back and grabs her and attempting to swallow her whole. Damn! Not wanting to die like that, she takes the flare gun and shoots it from the inside, killing the monster. After that, the rest of the creatures begin to wake up, then the flashing red light stops as they all get lifted away. In the distance, more flashing lights briefly show a towering figure standing over the Roebuck. Unsure of what she's looking at, Nora fires a flare, totally giving away her position for some reason, revealing Cthulhu. Nora runs as an explosion happens as she gets blown away. The screen fades to black. The end! No, I'm just kidding. When it comes back, we see Emily dragging her to safety, so she dragged both Liam and Nora back. Okay. When they make it to safety, Nora's suit malfunctions. About to suffer the same fate as Rodrigo, Emily breaks the glass on her helmet to let air flow through, saving her. They take their suits off and make it to a control room as a voice over the intercom says,
"We've got big things in store for you."
Ha! Puns. Nora tries to lead the others to the evac pods, but the two paths she tries to take gets destroyed and the doors close. She finds a way to the pod, but only finds two working ones as the third one is non-operational. She tells the others they all work. As they strap Liam in, he offers to stay and let the others go first, but the girls insist he goes, giving him Paul's stuffed bunny. Nora and Emily both tell the other to go first, and after arguing, Nora punches Emily in the face and puts her in the pod, sending her to safety, assuring her that it's going to be okay. With Emily gone, Nora takes a minute and then walks up to the window, seeing creatures swarming the place, with Cthulhu sending even more. She goes to a panel and examines the thermal cores, and after maxing the energy, she begins to blow the entire station up. Cthulhu attempts to escape, but everyone succumbs to the blast. It then transitions to articles revealing Emily and Liam made it out safe, and the company is refusing to say exactly what happened. The end! So, that was Underwater, and if I'm being honest, the first time I watched this movie, I did not like it at all. I found it boring and dull. But after watching it again, my opinion's changed. I still don't love the movie or anything, but I don't hate it anymore. Apparently this movie bombed at the box office, only making back half its budget, if Google is to be believed, and the budget was 80 million, which is big yikes. To sum it all up, it's pretty much an alternate version of Alien, but underwater. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a very good one either, if that makes sense. And at first, TJ Miller's character, I found too tryhard at the comedy, but some of it did work for me. It definitely needed more exploration with the characters for sure, instead of starting off the way it did, and it could have been a solid movie. But the sets and the film editing, I was a very big fan of. After watching Underwater, I'm going to give it 5 stuffed bunnies out of 10.
Take this bunny. I bequeath it to you. If he doesn't make it, I'll haunt you.
Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care.